Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty fascinating, the world of Rubik's speed cubing. It's this amazing intersection of complexity and, well, human speed. Okay, so here's the thing that just blows your mind right off the bat. A standard Rubik's Cube. It has 43 quintillion possible combinations. That's not million, not billion. Quintillion, like 43 billion billion. So the immediate question is, how? I mean, how can anyone possibly master something like that, let alone solve it in, seconds?
It's an absolutely staggering number, isn't it? Yep. Really hard to wrap your head around. And yet you talk to some cubers or you read about it,
Right.
and solving it is sometimes described almost casually like child's play.
Child's play.
Yeah, which seems completely counterintuitive. And that paradox, that's really what makes speed cubing so interesting to look into.
And this is where our deep dive gets, I think, really compelling for you listening, because our sources, they actually involved meeting some speed cubers, including, and you might want to sit down for this, world record holders who are just 8 years old.
8. It's incredible.
Think about that. Mastering a puzzle with 43 quintillion states at age 8. It really forces you to reconsider what young minds are capable of, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So, okay, given those insane numbers, what's the secret? It can't possibly be memorizing all 43 quintillion states, right? That's just impossible.
Oh, absolutely not. No one's doing that. What the research in talking to cubers reveals is something quite different. It's not about brute force memory. It's about understanding a system, a relatively small set of moves or algorithms.
Algorithms, okay.
And becoming incredibly good at pattern recognition. They aren't solving a totally unique puzzle every single time.
Huh. So they see a pattern.
Exactly. They see a familiar state,
Yeah.
and they know the specific sequence of moves to get to the next desired state. It's like the cube speaks a kind of language, and they learn to read it and respond.
A language. I like that. Okay, so it's systematic, not magic. Can you break down that system a bit? What are the key parts?
Sure. So most common methods break the cube down into stages. You're not trying to solve everything at once. Think of it like building something layer by layer. You might start with making a cross on one face.
Right. Get one color sorted out first, like a plus sign.
Precisely. Then you work on the corners and edges of the first 2 layers together. That's often called F2L. After that's solid, you focus on the last layer, first getting all the yellow pieces facing up. Say, that's OLL.
OLL.
Orient last layer. And then finally putting those last layer pieces into their final spots, which is PLL permute last layer. And for each stage, so we OL and PLL, there are specific patterns that can appear. And for each pattern, there's a known algorithm, a set sequence of turns, that solves it without messing up what you've already done.
Ah, okay. So instead of 43 quintillion problems, it's more like learning the solutions to maybe dozens or perhaps 100 or so specific situations.
Essentially, yes. The complexity is broken down into manageable chunks. You recognize the chunk, you execute the learned response. It becomes less about deep calculation and more about rapid recognition and muscle memory.
Like playing scales on a piano or something. You just know them.
Exactly like that.
Sure.
Actually, one young cuber we encountered in the sources, they described it as dancing with the cube.
Dancing with the cube.
Yeah. Less conscious thought, more intuitive flow once you see where things are. The brain becomes super efficient at spotting the pattern and triggering the right sequence of hand movements almost instantly.
That's a great image. And it brings us back to those 8-year-olds. How does that happen? How can kids specifically get so good at something that feels so complex? What did the sources suggest?
Well, a few things seem to come together. First, kids often have this amazing capacity for pattern recognition and just soaking up information. Maybe without some of the overthinking adults do, they can really immerse themselves.
Just pure focus.
Right. And second, the way cubing is often taught now is very structured. You learn method X, step by step. You practice algorithm A, then B, then C. It's methodical learning, block by block. And through thousands, probably tens of thousands of repetitions, those algorithms become completely automatic. It's a powerful example of focused practice and how the brain automates complex sequences.
So it's this mix then.
Yeah.
Systematic learning, tons of practice, and maybe that raw cognitive agility kids can have allows them to internalize this whole complex system super young.
Seems to be the case, yeah.
It really is just a fascinating paradox, isn't it? This Rubik's Cube world, you've got this mind-bending mathematical vastness
43 quintillion.
colliding with sheer human speed, pattern spotting, dexterity, especially seeing it mastered by someone who might still be learning long division in school.
It certainly makes you think, and maybe this is the final thought we can leave you, the listener, with today. When you hear about 8-year-old world record holders for a puzzle with 43 billion possibilities, what does that tell us? What does it suggest about, say, the nature of learning itself? Or maybe the real limits or lack thereof of human potential? Or even just where genius can pop up when you least expect it? It's worth pondering, I think, what that means for how we understand problem solving, skill, and mastery in any field.